It's quite late already. Should have done this earlier, but I was just resting, just watching a bunch of videos. Yeah, I have to be a little more productive in this stuff. But anyway, once again, no one's watching. Not surprised. Doing some uploads later too. So anyway, last time I left out at um, the Dune series. This is the first Dune book. I left out in a character. What's the name of the character? Pardon Keynes, and he's doing a bunch of exploratory, um, exploring the planet. So he's studying the planet with the Fremen people, and practically he manipulated those Fremen people because they're religious. They live in a desert planet, and he promised paradise. So with that, the Fremen people was subject to him. They had this something called the moral obligation. There's a bunch of teens that I don't know what happened. I didn't quite understand what's happening. There's a bunch of teens that are fighting. I think 6 teens fighting 3 Harkonnens, or could be 2. Oh my God, I don't remember it too much. But anyway, um, the Harkonnens are surprised with the Fremen kids. The kids don't have experience yet, and they had this moral obligation to help. What's his name again? Pardot Kings, for some reason. And so Keynes, he worked. He landed on the desert planet and then started preaching. And then I don't know how it transitioned to the teens. I didn't understand the transition, but I'm just reading. I may do another reading on this right now. Just trying to get a big idea of what's going on. I don't know. The transition seems to be he's there first, like he's talking and teaching the Fremen, and then eventually it could be a back day, like I don't know. I don't understand the transition. I don't know how the teens got there. And then he was eventually scouted or like salvaged to one of their cities, one of their villages, where he woke up at. But yeah, after that he went to preach and then eventually promise paradise, and this is what the Fremen wants. To the south, go to the equator, or whatever. He basically commanded the Fremen to work as free labor because of the moral obligation that they felt that they had to do. Again, they're religious people. They're really depicting that you can easily manipulate religious people as long as you give them certain promises that they are willing to believe and fight for. Yeah. So far, the most confusing part is really the transition. I don't understand that. I'll go back to it. I'll go back to it probably some other day. I'll just finish the book. This might be. I might read this like 3 times before anything else. I'll get the better perspective on the third time, most likely. Anyway, let's start where we finished off. Let's see. I don't have a bookmarker on this. Teens wounded up 2 days later. Okay, that's him. And then he set up a small unit experiment with regular in data for speed. Okay, this is the page that I already read. Most likely on the other page. So let's just go here. So it's just gathering data of the planet, the heat of the planet on each part, the equator, the North Pole. Last time I read, he was in the North Pole, and there's a bunch of sand troughs, 100 feet, I think, one of them. And they create the spice booms, and then there is those sand algae, sand plankton that eats the spice booms. My ear is extremely itchy. That was disgusting. Anyway, seven-degree line north and south. Temperatures for thousands of years haven't gone outside the range. Ooh, so is that something? I'm just rereading a page that I already finished. The water problem. It's a dry planet. I'm rereading. He also found I also remember he found salt patch, which gives an indication that there was once water on the now dry planet. The water cost. They really in the cost of water here. That's interesting. So they have a steel suits to well, I knew about that the steel suits, but they don't have pets and domesticated animals because of the so-called water price. Um, so they just live off themselves. Interesting. They don't have pets or livestock because there's no water around to maintain. I'm itchy everywhere. Jeez. Teams. Liquid rock. So let's try to solve the water problem by different means, like the rocks itself, just releasing the hydrogen and oxygen, and that's costly for them. You know, Shay, I don't know what's the most important parts here. To like talk to you guys about. Right now, you're just seeing my face, just reading the silently. But you can see the pages. Currently at page 803. Again, I'm in the appendix part where it shows the ecology of Dune, which is here. Increase. There was a consistent increase of moisture at the median altitude. That's solstice. There was a storm, there was a pan, a giant oval depression, some 320 kilometers on the long axis. A glaring white surprise. So it's a 300 meter long. And there's the salt part. Dito ka na naman. Oo, ikaw nga. Sorry, nababasa ako. Salamat, salamat. Ikaw yung top fan ko. Pag monetize na to, labas tayo. Yee. Salamat, salamat sa like, salamat sa like. May ikaw numalis, wag. Some found the spice must blow. This had been described in a fictional sci-fi film and folk. Scores of that grew into evidence. A creature emerged to explain these letter scraps. Sounds human. Sand swimmer. Few survivors enter the semi-dormant cyst hibernation to emerge in 6 years as small, about 3-meter long sandworms. Of these, only a few avoided their large brothers and stunted worms, a primitive form of shanghalud. The microecology, huh? So he started measuring a foot down, which is 55 cooler. Um, I don't know what these degrees are. These are most likely Fahrenheit. 344 degrees and 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And below that, below the sand surface of a foot, it's 55 degrees cooler, a and the foot above the sand is 25% cooler. Under shade, it becomes 18 degrees cooler. Uh, and interesting. Now they are looking at the sand plankton. The worm digests. The sand is mostly worm digests, according to him. getting a little bored right now. So I just end it there. Bye bye.